Hello and welcome back to London Cycle Routes. Today I'll be showing you how to cycle from Penge in South London to Peckham Rye Common, which is also in South London. This ride takes about 20 minutes and you can do more or less the whole thing on quiet back streets. I think it is genuinely a really nice ride. If you take a look at this city mapper screen here, you'll see that by public transport you'd probably be looking at about 45 minutes for the same journey, so you do save a bit of time by cycling this one. If you find this video useful, or you just enjoy watching it, then please do subscribe to the channel on YouTube, as I post new videos just like it every week. And don't forget to send your requests in for routes that I haven't done yet. Alright, let's get going. So we're starting just outside Penge East station on the north side of the tracks, and you want to head straight down Venner Road. This road is generally quite quiet because there isn't a useful through route for traffic on it. When we get to the end of it, you'll see that it's actually closed off to everyone except pedestrians and cycles. And a quick note, if you want to get to the start of this video from Penge High Street, just head up St John's Road and then go over the footbridge at the station. St John's Road is also very quiet, just like this one. As the road bends around the corner, just follow it through, we're going right to the end. At the moment we're travelling north from Penge to Sydenham, and I think this is really quite a nice, easy to remember back street route between the two town centres. There aren't really any cars on it at all, despite the fact that this video was shot around 8:30 in the morning, so dead on rush hour on a weekday. This really is as much traffic as you'll basically expect at any time of day on this road. As you approach this end of the road, you'll see those no through route signs, the blue signs with the T on them. Those signs are your friend, and whenever you see them, you'll know that you're not going to run into very much traffic at all, because there is genuinely nowhere for the cars to go. Now, when we get to the very end of Venner Road here, you'll see why that is, why that sign's there. It's because the road has actually been closed off completely, not with bollards or anything, but just with a bit of extra pavement and some public space. And there is a dropped curb here which you can cycle through, and you're allowed to cycle on this bit of the pavement, and the reason why is you'll see this toucan crossing here. It has a bike light on it, so you'll see that this is allowed for bikes. Now you're actually allowed to cycle on this bit of the pavement because that's a toucan crossing, but I've just gone on the road, and then you want to turn immediately down Silverdale. All we were doing there at Sydenham is actually just crossing the road, and if you'd wanted to start the route from Sydenham, you could have started from just there. Now Silverdale used to be a bit of a rat run, but it's great now, and you can see why. These planters here say road closed, and that's actually part of a new low traffic neighbourhood scheme that was introduced by the council. Believe it or not, the council around here is actually the London Borough of Lewisham. I had no idea Lewisham came this far southwest, but yeah, we are actually in the far southwest corner of Lewisham, just where it meets Southwark. We've just crossed into it, in fact, as we approached Sydenham. But yeah, it's really this low traffic neighbourhood scheme introduced by Lewisham Council that makes this entire route possible. This bit down Silverdale would normally be quite a busy road until they introduced that filter at the start of the pandemic, and now you can see it's beautiful to cycle on. Really wide road, very long, connects between these town centres. We're just going northward here, and yeah, it's just generally a really nice ride. It is a little bit hilly, I will point out. Anybody who's ever been to Sydenham knows it does have some hills, so yeah, in this direction they're mostly downhill, but if you're coming back in the opposite direction, yeah, you might need to do a bit of pedalling at certain points. But yeah, the bottom line is I really hope that the council makes the Silverdale scheme permanent, because it really does open up this route completely. Now, when we get to the end of the road here, there's a very, very brief section. We turn right onto Vale, and there's a very brief section on quite a busy road here, but then we immediately turn off left. If you feel uncomfortable, you can just walk your bike on the pavement. And we come onto Westbourne Drive. This road also isn't filtered. There is through traffic on here. This is rush hour, so you can see there are a few cars about. It's not fantastic, to be honest. This road is so wide that actually the council could put cycle lanes on it. You could move the parking, sort of put floating parking in, and have the cycle lane run behind the car parking, and it would basically be a protected cycle lane. That would be really nice if they did that. Unfortunately, at the moment it's not great, but then what you want to do is turn left. I actually missed the arrow there on the ground to turn left, but you can just turn left onto here, and this is a shared pavement. There was actually a little blue sign saying that it was, and then you immediately turn right here onto this crossing. Look carefully when you cross the road. There is a stop sign there, and this is a toucan crossing, so that's a crossing for bikes, and it leads us straight into Stanstead Road. Now, look carefully on the right and you'll see there's actually what I was talking about, there's floating parking protecting a cycle lane here. So if you were coming on this route in the opposite direction, there's actually a protected contraflow cycle lane on the right hand side of the street. You can just see it there. Yeah, there it is. That's the mouth of it. But when you're riding in the direction we're going, you just ride on the pavement with traffic. But there's not really any traffic there because it's very low through traffic. You go through that little gate filter. That could do with a redesign. You have to sort of go up on the pavement a little bit to get around it. And then on this road, because of that gate, because of that closure, it's a long-standing closure. There's essentially no through traffic. So again, we're on a nice sort of historic low traffic neighbourhood here that's been in place for ages, and as a result, it's really, really quiet. And that's what we're doing on this ride, really. There's actually really certainly going in this direction, there's not really any protected cycle lanes. It's almost all connected up by low traffic neighbourhoods and existing and new stuff. And it basically just means that we can ride on the back streets that go quite a long way and get us a really long way across South London, riding pretty much straight for 20 minutes, almost non-stop. And we basically barely see a car at all, except for a couple of bits which could do with improvement. I pointed one back there, and there is one a little bit further ahead, near the end as well, where things could do with a bit of an improvement. There's another filter we just went through, and that again is what's keeping this road quiet, and it's why, despite it being rush hour, it's probably about 8:45 now when this video is filmed, there really just isn't any through traffic at all. It's really, really a nice place to be riding. Now, this is a spot where a council could actually, I think, make a really big improvement. Crossing this road at Honour Oak Park is actually really difficult. Could do with a signalled crossing or, a zebra with a cycle zebra or something to make it a bit easier to get across the road. As it is, it's really wide and you have to wait for a gap in the traffic. But again, now we're on this side of the road, now we're in this bit. This bit is, again, an area where there's no through traffic, so it's really, really quiet. Just to say that if you find this video useful, then please do subscribe to the channel, because I do post new ones like it every week. And I do take requests as well. I'm always looking for new ideas of routes to try out, and I like the challenge of looking for a good way to do a cycle ride as well. Sometimes it isn't possible. I get a lot of requests which it's quite difficult to do because London Cycle Network, it's getting better, but it's still not quite complete, and there's a lot of dead spots. And I like to show off the good bits. Maybe one day I'll do some videos which maybe like reviewing existing routes, showing off some of the bad bits, but there's quite a lot of negative cycle content on YouTube, I find, so I like to focus on the positive stuff. But do send me any ideas and I'll see what I can do. Now, I really like this bit. We turn left here, and you can see this has been really well used by cyclists in the morning getting to work in both directions. You go down this road and there's a little pathway at the end, and it takes us on the bridge over the railway. And this is basically heading us towards Peckham on this nice bridge here. By the way, if you want to download a map of this route, there's a link in the description, and you can download a file, a GPX file for the device or app or whatever you use, and use it in that. This road is called Brockley Way, and we are just a little bit south of the centre of the town centre of Brockley. And one thing that I can point out to you at the moment is that we are following an old London Cycle Network route called Route 22. This bit of the route doesn't really have any improvements for cyclists at all. It's not great. All it is for wayfinding. So just follow the little 22 symbols written on the road and on the signposts, and the little cycle symbols. And yeah, I sort of foreshadowed this a little bit earlier in the video, and this is the other part of the route that could do with a little bit of improvement. These streets could benefit either from a low traffic neighbourhood, maybe with some bus gates, because there are bus routes going through it, so you allow the buses to go through but you keep through traffic out. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe these roads are wide enough to put a cycle lane on it. But as it is, I think this is kind of inadequate. Fortunately for the journey that we're making, it's only really a short part of the route. We've come a really long way on nice filtered and quiet streets, and then there's some sort of slightly subpar bits of street we're going on. But as you can see, this is rush hour, and it's not terrible. Like, you can probably just about cycle on it, but you might think twice before taking very young kids on it. As part of a commute for an adult, this is basically okay to cycle on, if slightly unpleasant, and probably likely to discourage a few people from using their bike. So yeah, I would say to Southwark Council, because we are back in Southwark now, we've just crossed the border again, this area could do with a bit of an improvement. Maybe think about a low traffic neighbourhood. But fortunately for us, we're only on it for a short period of time, and we're going to turn off left here onto Peckham Rye Common. And this common is basically our final destination. This is where we're going. If you want to go to Peckham Town Centre, you just go to the top of the common, and you can keep going up there. Although I think the connections from the common to the town centre could do with a bit of improvement. I think the main roads probably need more continuous cycle lanes that connect to the cycle paths. But we're just going to ride to the middle of the common for now. It's really quite a pleasant place. But yeah, thanks very much for watching that route, guys. I hope you find it useful. As you can see, it's mostly pretty good, but if there's anybody from any of the councils watching or from TfL watching, this route is ripe for improvement. There's loads of places that could do with a crossing, or there's a couple of patches that could be worked out, and you'd have a ready-made great cycle route, basically, with very minimal, low-cost interventions. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys. Do subscribe to the channel, and see you again next time. Bye.